Apparently we're streaming on Twitch. Oh, there we go. We just went live on YouTube. How does it look on your end?
It doesn't say that you're on. Let me see. Oh yeah, it does say
Going
you're
straight to
on.
the YouTube channel. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
It
cool.
does.
We're live.
Okay. Finally.
Yeah. So we're going live with this type of content on this channel only because we tried going live in our separate stock and crypto channels, but we're still waiting for permission to go live. So in the meantime, I'm using my gaming channel to be able to provide this live stream today, and then I'll eventually put this live stream into our stock trading and analysis videos, and we'll put um, the channel names in the description if you're interested in following us on those channels. But feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Feel free to leave any comments and any likes. We'd greatly appreciate it. So I'm just going to do some live analysis right now. The date is April 30th. It's a Thursday. Current Los Angeles time is 9:26 a.m. 12:26 New York time. So we tried going live earlier. Apparently, we ran into some technical difficulties and some permission issues. Like I mentioned, we're doing this on this gaming channel right now. So from where we last left off, we had done an analysis on Bitcoin, IBIT, and Tesla. And these are just the few tickers I just like following every day. And if there's anything you'd like me to do live or on future videos, feel free to leave the stock tickers or crypto tickers in the comments, and I'll go ahead and feature that in future streams and videos. So in the meantime, we're looking at Tesla on the daily time frame. So when we made our last video in a different channel, the call was that for week April 27th, this week, we're looking for an expected move for Tesla to be within this box. And it's going to be a little bit difficult to see because I have other objects on here. But basically, from Friday's close of 376.30, which starts right here, that the range for this week was going to be over or under, plus or minus, from Friday's close of $19.16. In this case, we have a potential range of support of 357.14 and a top range of 395. So this is the range that we're working with, in which Tesla can move throughout this week. So tomorrow, this particular expected move will be, or option will be expiring for May 1st. Just recently been made aware that we do have several contract expirations for Tesla throughout this week, which is nice, but we're focusing on just the Friday weekly close for now. I could do monthly on longer videos, but for today we're live streaming, and what I want to do is be able to do just some live technical analysis so you can see how I would navigate through the charts using Fibonacci analysis, using Fibonacci pivots, as well as stochastic momentum indices, and stochastic momentum. I just said that, and moving averages. So I'm just going to go ahead and do some analysis here. I did predict that when I made our first video on Sunday that we were going to see a pullback into this Fibonacci retracement from basically last week's low to last week's high. It gave us this Fibonacci golden zone, and we had the 618 right here. And we basically had this pocket in which, a position trade, a day trade, a scalp trade could have been made. Or if you're bullish on the long term of Tesla, this would have been a good buy to go long for holding in your retirement or long term accounts. So to briefly summarize, Tesla has been on a downtrend since December, and we now have Tesla, breaking that diagonal trend line with volume and range, as you can see with this green candle right here. I'm currently using volume candle bars. So the wider the bar, the bigger the volume for that particular day. And we're looking at daily bars right now. So we saw a break of this diagonal trend line, which may indicate a potential reversal from the longer term downtrend. We see it go up, it hits the 100 EMA, kind of bounces around the 200 EMA on the daily, and pull back to this Fibonacci retracement. I'm going to remove the drawings very quickly so you can see how this played out in terms of a moving average analysis right here. Broke through the daily EMAs with a faster and medium term, and then it kind of hit a pause right here at this 200 EMA. I had this 200 EMA cloud in red, and then a 100 EMA cloud in blue, darker blue. We saw it pull back, and then we could just, if you are aware with how Fibonacci works or drawing Fibonacci retracements, you draw this low to the high, and you get this fib zone, which would be a great purchase area to get in on what may potentially be a change in direction on the long term for Tesla. However, we are seeing some some of the momentum kind of going downward. We are still below the 200 DMA, and that's daily moving average. So we just have to wait and see. We're kind of in this like gray zone, if you will, middle zone of having Tesla decide what it wants to do, whether it wants to break above 400, these previous highs, or maybe go sideways for a bit, potentially go lower to 350. But based on this momentum right now, we just have to wait and see. Thinking on a weekly time frame basis, looking back to this option expiration range that we have here, which is the expected move, I'm going to drill down to the 1 hour chart. I'm going to remove the SMIs. Now I have my moving averages pretty much locked in to the daily time frame. So as we zoom in to smaller time frames, we're going to see how those daily EMAs look like on a smaller time frame, and how those are potential supports and resistance levels on a smaller time frame. And you can see how it kind of played out. So one of my predictions was that on Sunday, when I made that initial prediction that we were going to have price find itself either on a Monday or Tuesday, go down to this Fibonacci retracement range, which I kind of marked in green. The reason why I kind of did it right here, now I'm moving it now, but if we get the lows from Friday and then kind of filled the rest of this space to this 70.6, or you call it 70% Fibonacci retracement. That's not an actual official default Fibonacci retracement, but based on my work, I like the spacing of that. So we have the 61.8. This would have been a good buy to go long right here. And if we go down even smaller to, like, let's say a 15-minute chart, you could see how when Monday opened, we did have a gap down. It pulled back to close to like 364. So what we want to do with Fibonacci retracement very quickly, I just want to mention that we want to look at zones, right? We want to look at potential zones for support and zones for resistance. So we're not looking for exact, we're looking for estimations. And if you had a purchase, a limit order of some kind in this zone, you would be writing, you had an opportunity to take part of this gain right here. So looking back at Monday, see it pull back. Now, I currently have my Fibonacci pivots. Excuse that. And before I get into it, so this is what the Fibonacci pivots look like. From last week, we saw it pull back to the S1, S2 zone. which was a potential zone to buy Tesla. Excuse me, no, that wasn't weekly. This is monthly. So on a bigger time frame, if you're looking to position trade, this was a good area to get in for the month of April. And we could see how that kind of quickly played out in hindsight, that it hit R1 and then pulled back. So this is the main pivot line. R1 is potential resistance for the month, and we saw it pull back, go close to the pivot, and we're under these EMAs. So I'm going to change the setting from monthly to weekly so we could get an idea, taking that monthly move into the context of this weekly pattern that we're currently looking at. Now that we looked at it from a monthly perspective, we're looking at now on a weekly perspective. I'll turn my drawings back on. So we saw this green fib buy zone, and then we see the S1 and S2 of the weekly pivots. This, like I said, it was a good area to buy. And then we quickly saw price close the gap from Sunday's close and then hit these faster EMAs. Now, these EMAs are the 9 and 13 and 2 and 4, I believe. So the 2 and 4 in black, the yellow and pink, 9 and 13. So that was already a very good potential scalp trade for that day. So let's just say if you got in close to here and you got out either at the close of the gap, that was a 2.9% gain, $10. Or if you were aiming for these higher EMAs, which typically it does like to touch these faster moving EMAs. That's the reason why I have the 2 and 4. So you could drill down to a smaller time frame, intraday time frame, and then make your decisions based on that. So if we got in through this green zone, you aim for one of these higher levels right here, which is the faster EMAs. That's easily like a 4% gain on the day. So however you want to play it, whether if you were buying stocks, weekly, weekly options very risky because you have a very short time for it to play out. Maybe if you bought like a month out, 3 months out, 6 months out, or even a leap, this would have been a good short-term play right here to gain $15 or 4% about. So if I had to drill down, right now we're currently looking at a weekly basis. We're slowly drilling down. If I moved, or excuse me, changed my pivot time frame to daily, we're going to see how Monday, April 27th played out based on the daily pivots. And you could see not only are we in this green fib zone on that bigger time frame, on monthly time frame, drilling down to the daily pivots, you see that it went down to the S3 and reversed from there. Now, still looking at Monday, let's even go down to a 5-minute, get granular here. So if you got in long here, if you did not want to take out either the close of the gap or the EMAs, or maybe you had a target to close at the R1, you'd be out by now as of Tuesday. But a good way to do it as well, you get the Fibonacci tool, grabbing the Fibonacci retracement tool, and I'm going to mark that Monday's high or opening, and then mark the low of that session, and 618 would have been a good exit, and it looks like it tapped it. Price peaked at the 200% level. It front ran it by a little bit. But that's using Fibonacci as a way to find, exits and potential areas of resistance and support. Another way to look at it. In order to have more confluence, not only did we have the dailies daily pivots give us these S1, S2, S3 levels to prepare for Monday. What you could have done on a Fibonacci basis, get Friday's low and Friday's high, swing low, swing high. And then if I drew a box of the Fibonacci extension zone of Friday's high and low, the Fibonacci extension zone would cover this 1.25. That's not an official Fibonacci extension ratio, but I mean, if we want to make it easy as possible, it's usually 1.272, but 1.25 is a good area to use. All the way to the 1618. If I drew a box, we have a confluence here. Once again, finding a potential demand zone or support zone for you to make a purchase, start position. So if you didn't use pivots and only use Fibonacci, that would have already given you a good idea that this was a good area to buy. All right. Let me just delete that. So that would have been an awesome trade if you took that on Monday. And we already knew going into this week that this it's a light white colored box right here, which is the range for the option expected move for the week. So we're still in the box tomorrow, and we're currently right near Friday's close. So tomorrow on expiration, we're going to see a lot of volatility in the market. Are we going to have it just go sideways? Is it going to go up to the top of this weekly expected move up to 395, or are we going to go lower? Either way, you see all these pivots play out based on these setups. And then today, right, we tried to go live before the market, but like I mentioned, we experienced some technical issues about going live, and we had to make sure we had our setup. So tomorrow, we will go live as well before the market and try to give our intraday analysis. So if we had gone live earlier this morning, we would have seen these levels play out right here on the 5-minute. And once again, since we drew our levels on a monthly time frame, which this is this big green area right here, this was potential area for support again, not only with the drawing right there, but on previous price action on this side, looking left. And then I'm just looking at this from a Fibonacci perspective again, and I'm probably all over the place, but hope you could follow. But I'm looking at obvious areas of fractals, right? Highs and lows for this week. So if we drew, as of today, this was the low of the week, and we draw the high of the week thus far, you can see if we kind of shaded the 618 70% area, that on the opening of today, that this was a strong area to buy. Once again, if not here, in this zone. Now, if you're someone who is trading with tight stops and you're placing your stop on previous structure, then, depending on how wide it is, you'll definitely get stopped out. That's why I like to use zones. You want to give enough cushion and, range for each candle to play out in order for you to wait for your, direction to play based on your analysis. Since I knew that this was a good area to buy from not only on these levels, but if we were to have drawn this before the market, we would have known that this was a good area to have bought. And as we can see, turn the pivots back on for the day. The daily pivots, we see it go down to S2, kind of hold this pocket right here, and we saw it take off. So I got many strategies that are kind of overlapping, but I like to use different types of analysis to be able to come to a decision. And um, I'm not telling you to follow me. You can follow the channel, but I'm encouraging any viewer that is watching this to find out what works out for you. For me, it's been the pivots, daily EMAs, drawing Fibonacci ranges, using the stochastic momentum indexes, SMIs, um, to come up with a play, or in this, buying options, sell options. Um, let's see. There's another tool I wanted to, or strategy that I do use and keep in mind in terms of looking for levels. This is called the SMC toolkit. Don't remember what the TTF stands for, but this is Smart Money Concepts Toolkit. It's not, I mean, it is, I guess, a smart money concept if you're familiar with that. But what it's mostly known for, this type of indicator right here, let me remove my drawings. Oh, it was actually removed. Let me remove the pivots for now. So this toolkit is basically drawing the 1 hour range on the trading day, starting from market open, 6:30 Pacific Standard, um, 9:30 Eastern. So it basically marks the high and low of the first hour of the trading day, and that gives us the opening range. And then when we get an opening range breakout is when we get a candle close above or below that 1 hour range. So what's nice about this indicator, you can look for it. It's free through TradingView. Marks the high of the hour, low of the hour, and then we see it break out. So if you're someone who's doing a scalp trade or a day trade, or even um, you, you open it using the smaller intraday time frames, and you maybe end up taking out maybe a week later with using options. This was a good area to have gone long, right after this close of the candle. If you're someone who's looking for confirmation, or if you want to jump the gun, but jumping the gun, of course, is there's risk attached to that if you don't have stops. Um, what I like to do with the opening range breakout, or excuse me, opening range rather, I get the Fibonacci tool, I draw the high of the hour, I draw the low of the hour, and then you could see how this candle closed right near the 125, and then if I had this available, the 1.272 level, that this was a good area to have taken uh, the sell target. It could have been target one at the 125 if you did go long here, or even go long at the close above this candle. That was target one, the 618 Fibonacci level, that was target two, and then the 200% or the 100%, that would have been your third and final target based on Fibonacci, and using the Fibonacci range, marking the high and low of the hour. If I turn the pivots back on, there you go. You could have used R1 as a target, R2 as a target, and based on current price action, right now it's 9:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Um, this R3 on the daily pivot would have been a great exit. Right now it's 12:49 in New York, so we're about 10 minutes to New York lunchtime. So we're going to see the volume pretty much dry up, and this price action is going to move sideways. There's another tool I like to use here too. I have many indicators. see. And if you want just as many indicators as I do, um, simplify it, make it as complicated as you like. As long as you could understand your system, know how each indicator works in confluence with others, then by all means, right? But you definitely need a TradingView subscription. I'll be adding an affiliate link in our description if you're interested in signing up through our channel. There it is, an ICT kill zone. What's great about this ICT kill zone indicator is that it marks the range. The stock sessions, actually, let me turn on this setting so there's a setting here I actually want you to see. Okay, maybe not that one. Play text. There we go. There you go. Better. Okay. All right. So this shows this green zone is the New York AM session, and currently, lunch started much earlier than that. So we're currently in the New York lunch. So this is what's great about this indicator. It shows you the session throughout any trading day, the different phases of the daily session. You have the New York AM, the lunch, and the New York afternoon session. Okay. And anything I should add? Babe, are you on?
No, I think you covered it. You want to talk about IBIT now or Bitcoin?
Yeah. Okay. Very quickly. So if you did go in long here, and let's say you got out at the pivot line of R3, so $10 roughly, $11. Let's call it 10 because it's not everyone's going to get the perfect entry and exit. So easy range of $10 right there on Tesla. That's $1,000 on 100 shares, or depending on your option, um, multiple gains in percentages. So we'll see what happens. We'll be live streaming until the end of today's session, and I'll be here. I'll take requests. If you want to put anything in chat, I'll go ahead and do it live. Once again, we will be live tomorrow as well. So that's that for Tesla for now. Let's look at IBIT or Bitcoin. So when I made our Sunday video on a different channel, I was expecting a pullback on IBIT, also Bitcoin, right? So when I'm saying IBIT, I'm also saying Bitcoin as well. But I'm using IBIT because we're using the option expiration expected move to give us, where Bitcoin could move in a range. And in this case, Friday's close was 44.02. It was plus or minus $2.07 from that close on Friday. So we're looking at a potential low 41.95 to 46.09. On the previous video, I said that we were going to be expecting a pullback because we saw bearish divergence on the SMIs. So I have a 3-hour SMI in black and orange, a 12-hour SMI in light blue and purple or cyan. We saw the faster SMI already giving us this negative movement here. The momentum was kind of slowing down on a faster time frame as price went up. So that gave us an idea that price was eventually going to roll over to the downside. You could also see it. We're currently on the 4-hour chart that we were getting this negative movement, right? Um, yeah, let's go on the 1 hour actually. So we're seeing a negative trend on the SMIs as price went up. Eventually, price will move down, and it did. When it hit, not only it hit the monthly R3 Fibonacci monthly R3 right here, that was a potential, you know, short sell, at your own risk. This is not financial advice. Or if you had, started along from these lows, and then definitely exit on R3. So if you're in the beginning of April and you're looking to make a monthly trade on IBIT or Bitcoin, you could either trade spot Bitcoin on this or shares and options on IBIT. So S1 right here on the monthly, if you nailed it to the T, that's fine. If not, you just got in for a swing trade. And as you see right down here, the SMIs were rolling up. As soon as price gapped up over this 100 EMA cloud and used the faster EMAs as support, that was an indication that this was going to go higher. So let's say, you were scaling in at S1, and then once we hit R3 of the month on Wednesday, April 22nd, that was a 20% gain on IBIT. So to further strengthen our analysis of it rolling over when this happened was not only because of the negative bearish SMI, but also coupled with the fact that it had already hit this 100 EMA cloud, and this is an 89 EMA cloud. So 89 and 100 EMA cloud range, along with the R3 monthly pivot. We see it roll over. I was predicting that it was either going to pull back to close to $42 on the low of the weekly expected move. Didn't quite get there, but it got close. But it ended up finding support near this, I believe, 9 and 13 EMA cloud that I have right here. So it did pull back when we mentioned it, just not as far as we thought it would. Now, on a smaller time frame, I'm looking at this now. We do see maybe I should just draw it. No, we'll do this. So we see price go from low to high, and then we see the SMI go from low to high. What does that mean? That was early bullish divergence that price was going to reverse, right? So once it found support at this level, and I know it's probably going to be like pivot level on a daily time frame, and you're going to see that. Well, it surpassed it. It's probably a weekly. Price was going to move up. We would have seen, price break out of this candle and go up. So there's not a lot of volatility on IBIT or Bitcoin compared to Tesla, which is the reason why I like to look at Tesla, because there's a lot of opportunities to be able to scalp, swing trade, day trade, position trade for the long term. Bitcoin, I mean, you could trade this if you have the capital margin or anything like that, if you're using spot. But definitely, this is something much more on longer term. So we see that how price played out today, gapped up, hit the R1, kind of meandering between these daily EMA clouds. So we'll just have to wait and see. It's in a weird place right now with IBIT.
Do you think on Friday, tomorrow, it's going to hit one of the expected moves?
Well, we're not even I mean, we're closer to halfway of the expected move. So 46.09 was the top range, and then 41.95 is the low end, right? So if we're looking at the weekly pivots, we're currently below the weekly pivot of the week, which is not good. If you wanted to go bullish, if you're a momentum trader and you're waiting for confirmation, you would have to wait for price to get above this weekly pivot in order for you to take action. And then, excuse me. And then conversely, if you were a bearish trader, and then if price ended up closing under the weekly pivot, those would have been some good scalp trades to the short side. But for me, I'm generally bullish. I like buying dips. I like looking for reversals to the upside, and then just closing a trade. If it's a shorter time frame or scalp or day trade, take out at one of the faster EMAs or the daily pivots. So for example, if I, went long at the S3 yesterday, you know, I would be getting out at the R1 of today. Doesn't look like much, but it's a lower price stock. 1.76. Anything else for IBIT? Well, we can look at Bitcoin and see how the evening levels played out. Here we get more information. Obviously, the daily EMAs are going to be looking different because it's got more price action going on and more calculations added to the formula. Let's go on a bigger time frame. And let's change the pivots to monthly real quick. Similar to IBIT, at the beginning of April, if you found it near this S1, and if you were looking to go long, um, good area to buy, unless you waited for confirmation for price to break above these faster EMAs. So this was an indication here to get ready to go long. You could have bought it once you saw this candle to make a monthly trade and to potentially ride it up to the R1, R2, and these EMA clouds. So broke above, pulled back, and then on the pullback, definitely a good time to go long. And you see how uh, BTC reacted after the breakout, just went up. So looking at Bitcoin on the intraday today, I'm going to turn yeah, because of course, if you know about Bitcoin, it's 24/7. You're getting all this price action here, and we turn this SMC toolkit back on. It's basically an orb indicator, opening range breakout, or range indicator. Gives us the hourly range for each session. This is the Asian session. And just so it's clear to see, which is the reason why I toggle this kill zones and pivots indicator. I left the text on. Weird. I had the text on. music back on. Okay. Sorry about the distraction. Okay. So this is showing the Asian session range, the London range, and the US open range on Bitcoin. So if we could open up the daily pivots to see how each session reacted to those pivot levels. So this is we have the daily pivot levels on. You can see that this is the pivot for the daily pivot, and didn't quite get close to the S1 or even R1. So it's still deciding what it wants to do, and we'll have to wait and see what Asian session brings to us. We go to a weekly time frame for Bitcoin. And go back to the 4 hour. Actually, 1 hour. Oh, there we go. This is why it helps to go on different time frames and then toggle your indicators time frame settings. See what works for you, what fits for you. This would have been a good buy, obviously, if you saw this S1 and you see all these EMA clouds provide support. If you wanted to scalp this, that is.
What is the momentum saying for the longer term? Do you have any predictions for what's to come with Bitcoin?
Like daily? Like
yeah,
bigger
sure.
term. Oh, okay. Very quickly, I just see something. Where's the pencil tool? I never really had to use it until I go live. Here it's. Anyways, I'm just going to indicate it with this cursor. So very quickly before we go into the long term, you see the SMI go down this low. You see price bounce off of this level, and you see price close near that same level. So we have two bottoms, and then you see the SMI go higher. So when you see two bottoms, and not the wicks, but just the closing of the candles, when they make this double tap, if you will, you see the SMI moving higher. Would have been a good area to go long for a scalp trade on this pullback.
Also, if you look at the longer term SMI, there's a bullish divergence, because if you look at the bottoms, the two bottoms on the chart, the candles make a lower low, and then if you look at the longer term SMIs, which is the orange and black lines on the bottom of the screen, there's a higher low. You see that? So like,
Was that the one I just marked? Right here?
No, it's the bottom.
Oh, right down
the
here.
Orange and black one on the bottom. So if you look at the bottom SMI of that, before that, it's a lower low to a higher low. And then if you look at the price chart, it's lower, it's going to it's the opposite. So it's a bullish divergence.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that or no?
Can you show me?
Here to here.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I want to point that out.
Yeah.
That's a longer term thing.
Yeah, if you Good eyes, babe. So if you're looking at this, and then on the, yeah, right there. You're right, babe.
So two bullish divergences
Yeah.
on the shorter term and the longer term. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's like short term, mid term, right? That this was a good area to go long and start a position if you wanted
Yeah.
to make a quick scalp or weekly trade. Yeah, many. If you train your eyes to look for divergences, you'll see so many, and those are early indications, um, of a potential reversal, um, depending on your levels and how the candle and price action reacts to it. So if I had seen this, factoring in this longer divergence and then seeing this mini one happen right here, I mean, that would be a high probable scalp trade quickly to the upside. But keep in mind that price is under these faster moving EMAs. And we're kind of crunched in between the 9. What is this? Getting it mixed up. Oh, the 20. The 20 DMA and then the faster EMAs. It's kind of, we're in a between zone. Kind of like how IBIT looks like right now. In between zone. Everything, the whole market is just waiting for Friday. See what happens. So tomorrow when we go live, ideally we want to make sure we are going live in our actual stock trading and crypto and trading technical analysis channels. We'll provide the links in the description below once we're done with the live session here. And follow us on that, and follow on this channel as well if you're interested in watching me game. But besides that, what did we want to look at?
Well, we covered Tesla, IBIT, Bitcoin. I think that's about it, unless you want to look at MicroStrategy.
Okay.
If
You
you
know
want to.
what I'll also do. I mean, we'll stay live until the end of the session, so we could draw out levels for Friday's open. How about that? We'll have to make edits too, just so it's on short form. And upload this live video to the other channels to archive. Okay, so we'll look at MSTR. Oh, got a whole bunch of drawings here. I need to clean that up. But I don't want to remove my VWAPs. Yeah, I got to clear all the Fibonacci's that I already drew here. But I have like these longer term VWAPs that are kind of like playing out. Let me lock it in. Lock. Lock. Shouldn't lock the... It shouldn't delete the locked drawings, right? There's an option here. So if I did this... did I just do? We go to delete. Always remove locked drawings. So that means if I were to remove the drawings, it should save the locked if this is deselected. You have locked drawings on symbol. Do you want to remove the locked drawings too? No, keep them. Okay. Let me double check to see if there's anything else I want to save here. And I will delete everything else. I'll just keep the VWAPs. There we go. Yeah, definitely off screen. I'll make these updates on MicroStrategy, but I'll keep these up for now. So currently I have these VWAPs drawn on MicroStrategy, starting from the highs of July and then the low of April 7th, 2025, April 8th. So these are standard deviation multipliers, 1, 2, and 3. These lighter green lines, these are the 1 standard deviations, and you can see how kind of moved around it. And what MicroStrategy is doing now is retracing back to the midline, which is these 2 black lines.
If you work with a team and you always have a ton of good ideas, but
It pretty much looks similar to Bitcoin. Just like Bitcoin and IBIT. I'll be right back. I'll keep the Tesla chart up. I'm going to take a quick break. If you come across this live, leave a comment or in chat, and then I'll respond. Be right back. Test, test. we're going to end the stream here. If you happen to be seeing this towards the end, thanks for joining. Feel free to follow this channel. This is actually my gaming channel. I'll be able to add the channel YouTube channel names of our trading and stock trading analysis channels. Follow those channels as well. We'll put those descriptions up shortly, but feel free to follow for more. We'll be live on the stock and crypto trading channels tomorrow. We were just waiting for the permissions, for this 24-hour period. But yeah, stay tuned for future videos. Like and comment if there's any suggestions. If you want me to look at something, feel free to let me know in the comments. Take care for now.